And welcome back to Flexible Games, where we are playing production line. Well, our factory is going strong, very successful, and I have thoroughly enjoyed getting this set up and running. Yeah, there's a lot we could be doing. There's some, body work that we could be doing up here. We already are, making our own door panels as quickly as possible. And this factory turned out pretty good. But I don't know. I have a feeling it's time to move on. The new version came out, which completely changes the engine layout. However, it also made saves incompatible. So I can't actually upgrade and use this same save game, which kind of is disheartening a little bit. Well, it's disheartening a lot, actually. I kind of set this up with the plan of making, the engines over here and bringing them into this section here. But yeah, save games are now incompatible. And unfortunately, I really don't want to start over on this. The developer is getting ready to include different types of vehicles. So instead of just this basic car, he's getting the SUV ready to go, and there's a lot of balancing that also has to be done. I mean, these cars are so depreciated in value. I'm not actually sure I'm making all that much money on these things anymore, because I've had to lower the price so much that these cars are now worth a lot less than they were. For some reason, this is still at 16,000. And what is our? So yeah, we are now pretty low. Even the cars that have all these awesome advanced options, it's very hard for them to sell. And we got a helicopter flying overhead, which is just excellent. But yeah, it's been very difficult, as the game progresses, to actually poke any money out of these. Even with my making most of my own really expensive parts in-house, if we can look at, like, let's say steel sheets is a good one. This one has plummeted now to $55. Remember, this was like $120 before, so we've really lowered the price of our steel sheets just because we're making so many in-house now, which is nice. So all of these steel sheet makers. Passenger airbag, why not? Keep the research going for no particular reason. But yeah, looking back, some of the changes I would have made, this is a customized map, and one of the changes I would have made would be to have these two sections combine and have a few more importers and have a bigger area to do paint in. That was really my limiting factor in this playthrough, was how fast I'm able to paint. I tried to poke as much production out of this area as possible, even redesigning it a couple times. And I just didn't have all that much room in this factory that I thought I would. I mean, I started taking up a lot more room. Up in here, I could have used this up here. My initial plan was to make body parts up here, but you need so many of these steel sheet pressers that, I really needed a bigger map, or at least bigger space, because there's all this. Look at all this space in here that could be used. I've seen people use custom maps that basically use the whole square, and I would choose to try to eke out as much production out of that as I could. But So far the game is pretty stable. I've only had one crash in all of the series that I've done. I've only had one crash ever. So, and that was during this series. So I'm glad the game is so stable, and the developer works very hard to make it very playable. So I'm glad about that. But yeah, the new changes gets rid of the flywheel completely and gets rid of a lot of this in favor of a different engine setup. And he's still balancing it. He's still working on it. So I may come back to the game later on, when it's in more of a finalized state. It's more balanced to ensure that factories like this can make money, because we got 300 cars sitting in our inventory. So yeah, it should be pretty good when it's more finalized. But with this, I could upgrade the computerized sails. Like that. It adds a little block, or a little server rack there. Although the Z fighting, you can see the Z fighting is still an issue. Little quirky things that the game still does. It is early alpha, and the price, if you have interest in this game, the price will slowly creep higher as the developer finishes features, as he starts embellishing the production line itself, adding cars and adding all that. Slowly going to start raising the price. So just be aware that that is coming down, and that way you can get it now while it's cheap, $10, $11, and then when it's in full release, you'll get a copy and not have to spend any more money, because it might be $20 by the time it's fully released. And I may come back to it at that time, whenever that may be. I may revisit it. I have no qualms about that, just to see, compare the two together. So this will be a quick video, just a farewell to this series. I've got another game that I kind of want to cover. It's another cute sort of game called Another Brick in the Mall, and I want to do a couple series with that, because I think it's a fun little game, and it's doesn't have the playership of a lot of mainstream games, but it still shows a lot of cute decisions that the developer has put into it. So it's definitely worth a look. So I do want to cover that. I bought that game a couple days ago and have been sort of testing out, learning the game, and I think I'm ready to start covering it. So I haven't had a whole lot of feedback with this series, and that's kind of how I gauge interest in any given series. Is do I get feedback? Do I get comments or likes? And this series with this game really hasn't driven a whole lot of that. I don't get a whole lot of feedback with this, so I'm not sure what to think about that. I kind of have to guess when I don't get very much feedback, unfortunately. So that's why I'm sort of switching gears now, and not when the series starts dying off, because the views have been a little lower. But I will want to revisit this game, just like a lot of games I'm planning on revisiting. This one is definitely one of them. I want to see where it goes, what the developer does, what decisions he makes, how hard he makes it to actually play the game and make money. But he's got a good thing going here, so I would highly recommend you support him. All right, well, that will do it for this quick episode. Look for Another Brick in the Mall in a couple days, in this same time slot. So that will do it for this episode, and I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.